welcome to the Shrestha podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host. Today I have my friend Brittany Bolinski, also known as Barefoot Brit. Today is actually a follow-up podcast episode because she has updates, exciting news, as she is hosting the UK's Barefoot Expo happening on September 21st in Birmingham, United Kingdom. So, Brittany, welcome again to the Shrestha podcast.
Ian. Hiya, thanks for having me back.
Yes. So, love to know, I guess, first of all, how's the planning been? I know I'm kind of getting some updates from you. It's been pretty crazy, hectic, exciting, but what's the thought process right now for you as the days coming by? I mean, it's 14 days away, so.
Yeah, it's really close. So I feel like we've just got to the quiet before the storm. The last this week has been really intense. I had a lot of deadlines for print, so I finally sent all of my marketing materials, my banners and leaflets and all stuff like that. So we've done a show guide as well, which has probably taken a big chunk out of my whole life at the moment, because I committed to writing the show guide myself, which is probably something that most people would think that I would outsource, but because I feel like I know everyone so well, I wanted that to be put together by me because it's a show that's by me. I've personally invited everybody, so I felt like I wanted to do it, and it's something I've got experience in, so I really wanted to put it together. So that has been the biggest thing on my mind. I also had a meeting this week at the venue itself, where I just got reassured with the space that we've got available. We have opened out an additional space because numbers kind of escalated really quickly. So about a month ago, we were looking at around 400 tickets, but that had sold, and now 4 weeks later, we are very rapidly approaching 800. So I'm expecting by the end of today, we will be sold out. We're definitely already sold out of the morning entry slot. So the event is open 10 till 4, but just to manage crowd, just have a bit of crowd control, I actually set 2 start times so that people could arrive knowing that there would be space available. So I actually did a 1 o'clock entry, and there is still there's a handful of tickets left for the 1 o'clock entry, so they won't be missing out on anything. All the brands will still be there. They'll obviously miss a couple of the speakers in the morning, but it was just to make sure that everybody got a chance, so nobody had to race there for 10 o'clock. It's an all-day event, and if you're coming for 10 as well, you won't get kicked out at 1.
So I know you've been to previous expos and whatnot, attending it as a vendor, or not a vendor, but as a barefoot enthusiast. But you tell me, if someone who's never been to a barefoot shoe expo, what does it include? What's there around there for people to to view, to interact with? Because I've never been to one.
Well, it's actually more of a community thing, to see how many people are a part of this community, and also how many brands are involved, and how many brands are passionate about natural movement and functional footwear. So you will have the opportunity to, there's more to the barefoot space than Vivo Barefoot. Vivo are very kindly sponsoring the event, but it goes so much more than that, and not everyone fits into Vivo Barefoot shoes, and not everybody likes that one aesthetic either. So this is a really fantastic opportunity for people to come and see the available options. And obviously I've not got everybody there, so it's just a small picture of the global available options for everybody. So I'm very excited to be introducing some smaller brands to the UK market, and also just letting everybody come and understand not just what barefoot shoes are, but why are people investing so much time, and why do I do what I do? Because I'm just very passionate about it, and it's not just going to be me that's there to be passionate. Like all of the brands that are coming, we have 22 exhibitors, and then some of those exhibitors are actually presenting multiple brands. So I think we've got actually collectively over 35 brands that you'll actually be able to touch, feel, and potentially try on as well, and buy. It's a sales event too, so not only is it open to trade, but it's also public facing, so there will be the option to try and buy on the day too.
Cool. So with the crowd control and the amount of tickets, so where is this venue located, by the way? Because I know it's in Birmingham, but what part of Birmingham?
So it's just on the outside of Birmingham, very, very close to our National Exhibition Centre. We're not quite at that level yet. They wanted a lot of money from me to host the first event, so I thought we'd start small. But actually, what the benefit of having this lovely venue. It's a conference centre. It's there for conventions, and the space is huge. So we have a capacity of about 800. And so it's a lovely big space. People will be able to flow through, go and visit all the stands. There's some seating. There's free coffee for visitors and exhibitors, and there'll be a little bit of catering as well. There's a speaker stand. So it's a really nice venue because it's all carpeted. It's not too big that you'll get lost in the echo. And it's not so big that it's impersonal. It's actually a really friendly, warm and welcoming environment. And I'm very much looking forward to having everybody there to just feel that friendly vibe.
Mm-hmm. And with the, I guess the amount of vendors that you have, can you give us a sneak peek? I'm sure you put together the agenda and whatnot. Like, what is going to happen from opening to closing? Like, what's going on throughout the whole time?
So we've got some wonderful speakers. We've got Ben Leversant from Vivo Barefoot. He'll be doing a talk. We've got Freet, the Freet founder, Andy, or co-founder, I should say. His wife is joining, and then for the talk, he's got his daughter Daisy. They'll be talking about brand concept, designing shoes, why you would want functional footwear when you're out hiking. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing Andy speak. And then we have the guys from the Foot Collective who are like the funnest people on the planet. So again, I can't wait to get back on the Soulmate and have a few games with the Hacky, with the team. And Jim will be doing an opening talk in the morning. And then one of the peaks on the speaker stage is that we've got two world famous functional podiatrists, Andy Bryant and Rena Harris. Andy's from Melbourne, I think, and then Rena's from London, and we've got them doing a Q&A. So that's going to be really valuable for people that want to hear it from the horse's mouth. We've got actual qualified podiatrists there, ready to rest assured people that are still on the fence.
Sure. With having all these people coming in, I mean, you have probably maybe months put together and corresponding, getting them here. So yeah, I think that's great that you have all these people from different places around the world. I mean,
yeah, we've got Vigo. They're coming from Mexico, or I think they live in Panama actually. So it's a really exotic location. But we've also got the guys from the Foot Collective joining from Australia, and Paper Crane, one of our sponsors as well, is also coming from all that way. And then I couldn't also not mention Bilenka and Beba that are coming from Slovakia. So people are coming from far and wide, and I actually have organised a little bit of accommodation for the ones that are coming from quite far. So it has been all systems go for quite some months, putting some accommodation together, a little bit of transport links, and helping people get goods into the UK. So I've pretty much covered all of it and dotted the T's and crossed the I's with the show guide as well. So single-handedly organised the event from A to Z.
That, and of course taking care of your family and running your channel. That's crazy.
It's been a real challenge because obviously we got quite close to the event coming up into like June and then July, and then we had school holidays and we went on a family holiday, and then obviously it's been August, so it's just been quite intense with having all the kids at home every day, which is why this week has been quite intense because they went back to school on Monday. And so I was able to get through that. So we had a staggered start time as well. So we had one start at 8:15, two start at 8:45, and then one start at 10 on Monday. So eventually we got through and they all got to where they needed to be. And then I was actually able to get down to the venue and properly organise things without having to have the mommy distraction all day. So yeah, things are actually starting to get much more organised and honed in and prepared now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Staggered times. I
don't
know. I don't.
It was the one day, the rest of the time it's not so staggered. But yeah, it was because it was my third little girl. She is just turned school age, so she actually started school for the first time on Monday. So they had a little special start time for them just to ease them into it.
Yeah. So the preparation, and this is all about the Barefoot Expo. Mentioning that this is UK's first barefoot shoe expo.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've never done anything before, and obviously I started being Barefoot Brit and reviewing barefoot shoes in a more official capacity last January. So coming up to 2 years, and what with Anya's show in the USA, which I've obviously taken a huge inspiration from. So massive thanks to Anya. And I just watch her, what she's doing out there, and I just think it's incredible. So even if I can do, a small fragment of that over in the UK, I'll be really, really pleased. So obviously I flew out to Denver to meet Anya and her team, and they put on an amazing expo in Denver, and it was just such a fantastic weekend. So I had always hoped to just have that kind of vibe back at home for the UK audience, because obviously it's very difficult. We're a much smaller country. Things are difficult to get from everywhere, so I just wanted to have everyone in one place to sort of put barefoot shoes on the map, to prove that there is a real demand for it. And there is so much choice. It's just accessibility, which is a factor in the UK. So I'm really hoping that we can really help those brands present to the UK market and help the UK public try and buy, because that's something that we really lack, is that availability to try stuff on, because people are a little reluctant to buy online all the time. So that is something I'm trying my best to implement into the UK. I mean, we're a relatively small country, and so maybe even having some pop-up shops in the future would be great, but I definitely think this event will be back in the future. We have really started with a bang. I did not expect to be getting to the numbers that we're at for show one, but it really proves that there's a huge scope for it to double at least next year.
Yeah, because when did you start planning all this? Like, when did this start, this fruition of this expo? Was it a couple months ago, a year ago? Like,
it's a really good question. So actually, it started in concept on the 7th of September last year. So literally 364 days ago or whatever it is. So I actually did the guide certificate course with the Foot Collective in London last September for that weekend. And that was really the pinnacle of what I had been doing that whole year. So I started being Barefoot Brit in January. I had grown my audience, started doing lots of reviews, working with brands. And then I hopped onto this course just by chance. Actually, I was invited by somebody that I met near Wales on a weekend away in August. And she was like, "Oh, you've got to come and meet the team." So I was thrilled that all worked out. And Michelle introduced me to Mac and Jim from the Foot Collective. And as we entered into this room and we had this wonderful weekend, I was surrounded by functional podiatrists, physiotherapists, movement coaches, people that own Pilates studios, and I just felt massive imposter syndrome. I felt really unfit, and I had this wonderful experience meeting with all of them and sharing so much passion with these proper qualified people. But I actually started to recognize that I was the one that was liaising between these professionals, the ones that really know what they're talking about, and they know anatomy and they know biology. But I was the one that was, translating that in a really relatable way through my social media channels as just a normal woman, a normal mom, somebody that buys shoes for herself as a woman and somebody that buys shoes for little ones. I was reaching a huge audience, and I'm also reaching into, Gen Z with the means of TikTok, and I'm consistently getting over 10 to up to 17 million reach per month on just TikTok, and that's not even including Meta. So I know that I'm doing something, but to be surrounded by so many professionals that completely share my passion and that they joined with the Foot Collective to further their knowledge on the need of natural foot function, it was just a wonderful place to be. And during that weekend, I said to them, just blurted out loud, we need to have an event like Anya did. We need that here in the UK to bring us all together again and to get the public involved and to get that education, because that's the key. This is not a passing trend, is it? We want people to understand what barefoot shoes are, but also who they're for and why they should be buying them and why they should be investing in their foot health. So all of these things that were floating around my mind, I was there with the Foot Collective to get my own education with those professionals, but we really need something for the general public. And so that's when I said, I want to host an event. And Mac over my shoulder said, well, we'll support you with that. So that's why the Foot Collective are one of my sponsors. I'm so grateful for them supporting me from afar. Obviously, they are in Australia. And not only that, but just also the fact that it's going to have been a very costly trip for them to come over here, for that team. So I'm so eternally grateful that they are putting that and trusting in me and allowing me to do that with them. So I'm just so excited to bring it together. And it was literally a year ago to the day. So obviously I let everyone get Christmas out of the way, but things started really happening for me in January. That's when I booked the room and the venue. And then as time's gone on, more refined details have come into play as we've got on the preparations. And I've never done it before. Hopefully I've done it right, and we'll see.
Yeah. And mind you, they are doing a Foot Collective workshop, correct?
Yes, they're doing a
Yes.
pro
Okay.
seminar.
Yeah.
So I won't be involved with that because obviously I'll be running around like a headless chicken, marking the floor in the room and just making sure that everyone's where they need to be and got what they need. But I believe that they still have some tickets open to that, and I would strongly recommend people with an interest or a bit of a professional, aspect with barefoot shoes, and they want to have that knowledge and that training. Then 100% get yourself down to a TFC event. If you can't get to my event, definitely worth connecting with them or somebody that works with them, because honestly, they changed the game for me with that extra knowledge and that extra support. So really, really, even on a personal level, just understanding your foot health and how you can actually implement that into your day, and all their kit is such a good investment. So highly recommend everything that the Foot Collective have got to offer.
Yeah. Definitely, it's they are educating a lot with the team over there in Australia. I think it's great that there are people like yourself and others who are trying to just spread the awareness of foot health, like you said, and helping people make it fun to learn about it and not just a boring a thing to just work on it manually. But there are games and there are ways to do it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Any other updates that you want to share with us that you've from the time that you started, maybe a couple times sharing on social? What other updates do you have to share with us?
So I am working behind the scenes on a few little different things, and I can't really give any details yet, but 2026 is going to be big for Barefoot Brit, I think, and that's not including the show. So I'm really hoping that the event will be bigger and better with much or many more exhibitors and many more shoes to see. But I have a couple of other things in the pipeline. I'm really going to be trying to kind of replicate. I don't know whether you'll know this name, but we have a guy in the UK called Jamie Oliver who made some waves about 20 years ago with kids' meals at school. And I want to follow in his footsteps and make some changes to uniform policies to be more accepting of barefoot shoes and stop with the whole pointy winkle picker style for young lads. We don't need a heel rise. It's all unnecessary and completely based in nothing. It's all arbitrary. What's smart? So I'm going to be tackling some schools or at least ministers to address these issues that we are putting on parents and then eventually putting on children and their foot health. But also I want to be tackling the NHS as well, because there is no guidance out there for young or new parents when it comes to babies' feet and first footwear. It's all very much passed down through generations of what we do as a society and how we put shoes on babies. And I think there's a lot of misinformation. People don't realise that a lot of what they've been told has just come through powerful marketing from a couple of top brands. And I want to smash through those myths and really help people understand, when you've got a baby, you really don't need to be buying shoes as soon as they're like clinging onto the sofa. You just steady on, like let's work it out from the ground up about what the child actually needs and what those feet actually need, because foot problems later on in life do not come from a lifetime of being barefoot. They come from a lifetime of restrictive footwear. And it's basically unpacking that and making people understand that it's the shoes that we've been wearing that is the problem, and that's the root of our now foot issues that we get in our 30s, 40s and later life. And it's not just foot issues, it's mobility issues that it can be rooted right down to. I mean, I could literally go to the cupboard and get out the shoes that I wore when I was 3, and then you think, that explains the tailor's bunion. So it's just making sure that there's education and information accessible to those that are in control of buying shoes for everyone.
Yeah. It's funny because like you're talking about shoes and a baby. So like I have clients at my practice where I, look at their feet first. Ever since I got into barefoot shoes, I've been looking at people's feet like, okay, you've been telling me you have this pain from hip or from the foot. And of course I have to educate them as well. And it's amazing how people don't really think about the foot. And I guess that's kind of helped me transform as a practitioner because of the fact that, I used to just focus on the body, but then I always ever since then I'm looking at the feet also as an important aspect of the life. So
I think a lot of people think that feet are for walking, but actually the feet have very little to do with walking, and that's all in the legs and the leg muscles. But feet are actually there for balance, stability, sensory feedback, and all of that. And it's just such a big thing that the job of the feet, and it's got very little to do with walking at all.
yeah. Especially like plantar fasciitis, I've noticed that a lot with the, hammer toes, bunions, people who are, like I said, when I'm working on them, I can't even like extend or flex because it's such in a rigid position. I can't, if I touch the bottom of their feet, they hurt so much because they've lost that sense of proprioception. Or, like I said, they're in these cushioned shoes. So it's definitely a long time. It'll take a long time, but hopefully the more I'm educating my clients about the shoes and the proper footwear, they will understand the importance of what I'm doing also on the side, because I'm trying to merge the world of the practice I'm in with, natural footwear. I'm trying to collide this. Same thing like you, being a mom with the babies and like having barefoot shoes, or you're just trying to put these two passions together. And I probably feel that from you too.
I just want there to be more education and more accessibility to that education, but also the shoes. So that is the essence of my expo and my purpose now.
I've noticed you mentioned about the smaller brands that are coming. There are some brands, I believe, that have kids' baby shoes. Is that correct? I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got one of our sponsors, Inch Blue, and they'll be bringing their kids' range, which are like soft leather soled shoes. But they're also really great. And my kids and my sister's children and many, many children across the country are wearing these shoes. Even they don't have to stop wearing them when they get to a certain size. It's literally just because they're outgrowing them, because they actually make them with a thin rubber sole. So they're literally the ideal barefoot shoe. And I actually do have some of the slippers, but even if they had the rubber soles on, they would be perfect shoes for adults too. So they are coming. They're going to be on one of the main, sponsor stands. And we also have another couple of kids' shoes as well. So definitely loads to see.
Cool. Well, thank you for hopping on to this podcast. I love it when you share this. I think this is great. Like I said, UK's first Barefoot Shoe Expo. I'm, cheering from you from the sideline here, watching from across. And for those of you,
come along.
Yes, I would love to. I would love for you to share how people can follow along. I know you just started a Instagram channel for the UK Barefoot Expo, correct?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. But for all the good stuff, reviews, etc., you can just follow Barefoot Brit Official on Instagram and Facebook, and then I'm just Barefoot Brit on TikTok.
Perfect. And then any other ways that people can learn more about this expo besides the Instagram?
You can go to the Barefoot Expo on Eventbrite, which is where the tickets are. But if they head over to my Instagram, the links are all in the bio. They can always send me a message, or they can head over to my website, barefootbrit.co.uk.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for hopping on. Thank you, Britt, again. Been a pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.